Do you make your first 100K? Well, all you need to do is follow the growth method. I actually came up with this myself, and it helped me in those early days of wealth building. So hopefully it can help you too. The G stands for gain control of your finances. There's one way and one way only to gain control, and that's budgeting. Yep, I said it. Now don't get it twisted. Budgeting isn't a rule book designed to stop you having fun. It's more like a guide which navigates you towards more informed choices. I'm not saying you have to be super frugal with your money, but you do need to understand the difference between your needs and your wants. The R stands for root your investments. Let's say you invest $250 a month in an S&P 500 index fund and get an average yearly return of 7%. In 40 years, you'll have 656K. But what's even more impressive is that 536K of this is from compound interest. In other words, you only have to put in 120K of it yourself. I know what you're probably thinking. That's all well and good, but by that time I'll be over 60 years old and dribbling into my dinner. I fully understand. That's why if you can get this first 100K invested as soon as possible, then you'll do much better than this example. Now you're making some money, you need to focus on the O, which stands for optimize your tax management. It might sound fancy, but in reality, it's as simple as this. Avoid paying tax. Now, let me make something very clear. Tax avoidance is completely fine and something that smart people do. Tax evasion, on the other hand, is illegal and not what I'm talking about. But Mark, if you're earning more, you should pay more tax. I agree with you, and the rich do pay the majority of the taxes, but there should also be an incentive for someone to become an entrepreneur as they provide jobs for the rest of society. And luckily, there is. Entrepreneurs are taxed off the profits they make at the end of each year, which means they can deduct expenses from their earnings. These are called write-offs. This is different from an employee, as they're taxed off their monthly salary. So say you're really passionate about the latest tech, like the new iPhone. You could start a YouTube channel reviewing gadgets, and once it's generating you money, you could deduct the cost of your tech items from your profit and get them tax-free. Essentially, the government has helped you to pay for the item you want. However, you can only do this within reason. Your business or side hustle has to have a need for this item. In other words, it must be a justifiable expense. That's why starting your business around your passion can be a great way to save a lot of tax. It's what I did with my radio control model shops, and my son also does with his video production company. If this sounds interesting to you, we're going to be talking about this even more in my 2